Taylor Swift and Clark Havalda. You can see what I did here? Nasty Blood. It's a song on tape, but whatever. There is drama in Angel and Chi-Town. Kennedy Carter and Reese are the front and, center. Did you truly anticipate? Did the two make any other? Cluefully timed statements that are intriguing. On social media, that isn't specifically at one another, they appear to be, were aimed toward one another. And now they'll never acknowledge this, which is why though the words were unclear, WNBA fans quickly assemble the components, and if you're being duped by this one, you see, this drama not only makes the Chicago sky appears to be a train crash, generated one of the most significant burns. Opposed to Angel Reese, I've never witnessed a tactical nuclear bomb with laser accuracy and truth about the entire Caitlin Clark-Angel case. The rivalry storyline between Reese and this was the icing on the cake. It's over, coffin. Grab your ball and leave. I'm going to talk about who said what at home, who started the drama, and what it was about. Means in the sky for Angel Kennedy. Warning, spoilers. It's not good, or at least it wasn't 2024, so prepare yourself for some depressing blows. But first, if you believe Angel initiated it as if you. Here is some background on what Kennedy accomplished. Before I start talking about the dirt picture, you are your team's best player, spearheading the effort with an outstanding 17.5 points for each game.
This is a veteran team sending a message.
Carter drills and knocks it down. A little shoulder shake and a +1 coming.
Gets to her spot. She loves that free throw line area, the key area.
Region in which you're feeling quite optimistic about the future. Well, if you're Kennedy Carter, no. In a decision that left many admirers, the Chicago Sky had them scratching their heads, opted to split from their top. The scorer didn't even give her a. It sounds insane to have a qualifying contract, doesn't it? Because it occurs in typical situations, yet needless to mention that Kennedy's the WNBA path has been tumultuous, similar to flying into a chaotic F5, following a ban from the Atlanta Dream in 2021 for actions that are harmful to. She was traded to the Los Angeles. The performance of Angeles Sparks declined, scoring 8.9 points on average over 24 games. When the Sparks finally let her go, she took a year off from playing in the WNBA. She seems to have benefited from her time away. Excellent, or there was plenty time for people to ignore the past, and the skyline of Chicago signed her with a 17.5 for the 2024 season. She received points for each game with the Skies, the WNBA's top 15 scorers from the previous season, comparable to Kelsey's, Brittany Griner and Plum, particularly when you take into account that she played reduced average minutes.
Lead here for Washington. Carter quickly down the floor, lays it up and in. Count the bucket. She's going to get one more at the line.
Well, now you can see what Chicago has done.
But Kennedy, however, wasn't finished. She performed in China during the off-season and, without a doubt, dominated, averaging a crazy 30+ points for each match that is played for the Women's Basketball Club of Wuhan. And received praise for this from her Chinese team. Her optimistic outlook is providing her with the 2024 Outstanding Contribution Award. Fans were left perplexed by this. And yet this sounds like the type of you would give your 5-year-old a made-up prize for completing their tasks throughout the week. Gold. It was good, but it was a star for you, Kennedy, and appeared to suggest she was on the correct path with her China prize in hand and demonstrated ability to score it. Looked clear that she would be let go by the. Apparently, Skywell is not the cause of the issue. That's the $1 million deal in Chicago. Query, and the quiet in the sky on the issue is drowning out the teams. The management is not saying anything. More compact than a jar of pickles, but there. Jeff Pagoa's deeds speak louder than words. GM Sky provided a well-crafted. Kennedy's remark revealed an amazing season for us the previous year, but we've made adjustments to our personnel and will make the necessary adjustments to our roster. Influence Kennedy's team fit so that we wished to provide her with the greatest chance possible as a free agent interpreting the lines, but it's obvious that Carter's court brilliance was not superior to whatever was happening in the background. It takes more than merely dropping a top-producing player for a song that you could have purchased, unless they're accompanied by baggage, is very weighty, raising the question, the severity of the situation in the sky. Well, in the locker room, if these tweets are what many fans believe, is that we simply obtained a seat by the court for the performance just hours after Carter's departure. Angel Reese posted a mysterious message on social media. It's not necessary to post what's understood. Reese posted a mysterious explanation on X, leaving both critics and admirers. This caused them to scratch their heads. Kennedy directly, or simply a sporadic but intelligent post about anything, completely unconnected to her teammates. Let supporters go already. In any case, there was a lot of talk about Kennedy being cut, similar to striking a match in a keg of powder. Now, if you know anything about speculating, you are aware that Angel Reese is not a stranger to debate, particularly when it comes to social media.
Yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person, it's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that.
Recall that famous wave of the hand incident that occurred during the 2023 National, the championship game in which she won up in the face of Caitlin Clark, which essentially began the rivalry, which is presently on life support as a result of my actions. To share, it did feel uncannily similar. Reese has a talent for creating buzz, and this enigmatic message was no different. Angel Post's timing was simply too. I mean, it would be ideal for it to be a coincidence. Hours following Kennedy's departure, the background of contentious social media posts simply fueled the flames. She's established a reputation for not hesitant to express her opinions, especially if it implies raising a few eyebrows.
What's one piece of advice you wish you had received when you were starting your career?
I'd rather be like rich than famous.
Actually, some media narratives even referred to her as a villain in basketball for women.
Like, I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on and be that for my teammates. And if I want to be that, and I know I'll go down in history, I'll look back.
If that's reasonable or it's debatable, but one thing is for sure. Indeed, Reese is skilled in attracting people, chatting, including Kennedy, and preparing. Because things get hot at this point in the realm of professional sports, hence, often the most powerful punches are provided not in court but rather through warfare on social media, a subtle art. Hours after she was dropped by Angel Reese, Kennedy Carter's cryptic remark was revealed, a comment that was quite accurate and taking it out of the basketball world. I believe that the capacity to make layups all the time simply puts someone so important in a separate tier. She posted on X Carter's page to score easily. Ostensibly unimportant insight regarding the basics of basketball packed more punch that no one had expected to the. For a casual fan, this could have appeared to be a innocuous remark. Yet for individuals in the, I am aware that this appeared to be a surgical hit, specifically targeted at Angel Reese's largest weakness.
Plays some beautiful basketball. Again, no Brianna Stewart today. Chicago's missed 7 straight shots.
That's through off all screens. So she's not getting any easy looks.
Reese, short. Trust. Allen just blew by Burke, but couldn't get the floater to go. Angel Reese.
Then a response from another former user, with an illustration of the layup field goal. Kennedy had one of the highest percentages. Angel Reese, you guessed it, was the. Even worse, look at how ridiculously awful it is. At the quantity of efforts that the method gives the impression that she is offensive. Rebounds, just stating that layups are now, in fact, the most fundamental basketball stroke. For a professional athlete to have difficulties, layups are similar to a cook burning toast. It's an essential ability that ought to be Carter's insight, which is instinctive. Fans took it as a jab at Angel, pointed out a serious problem with Reese's game that has received little attention over her double-double amid the gloss records, but hold on, there's more. Kennedy released this banger as a follow-up in a tale on Instagram that she didn't. Everyone is worthy of your allegiance, and now she might have been discussing the skies, but it sounds as though she was talking about someone or a few folks that I'm not sure what caused her to emerge from the sky as soon as Carter understood. It is possible that she ignited a fire with. She attempted to retract her posts by saying, "I simply concentrate on myself," which was actually about me and the unique nature of the craft. Kennedy, I want to believe you. Truly do, but in the social media era, once you reveal something so shocking, when timing is perfect, there's no reinstalling the shrapnel in. Fans weren't paying attention to the innocent conduct. As the astute observer noted, even if this doesn't appear to be a jab at anyone, do we all know who is interchangeable with missed layups until the opposite is demonstrated in 2025, and that's the issue for every. Discuss her competition with Caitlin. The media and Clark are swooning over her double-doubles. Just observe how they lump her. Caitlin Clark's records include. There are definitely significant holes in Angel's game. A lot of these figures from the previous season. Proportion of field goals of 39.1% was significantly lower than the league average of the vicinity. 43% of people say that Ray's standing tall is worse than 6 feet 3 inches was the only size produced. Of her layups, 42.4% are not merely lower than average, the lowest in the for players her size in the entire WNBA. The layup conversion league average is roughly 55%, indicating that Reese is absent. Chances that ought to be simple points. Despite these difficulties, you are still achieved a solid 13.6 points per game, but when you consider her as a whole shooting statistics, it's evident that there's space. Her three-point shooting has to be improved. Sits at a pitiful 18.8%. However, her percentage of free throws was 73.6%, is only marginally higher than the league average. I'm not sure if it's really horrible. She might be able to ask him on her podcast. Her specialty has obviously been rebounding. However, does that support a rivalry? Caitlin Clark during her first season. Caitlin Clark posted astounding statistics. 5.7 rebounds, 19.2 points, and a league. She leads with 8.4 assists per game. The effectiveness of the shots was equally outstanding. 41.4% field goal percentage. 32.9% of these came from beyond the arc. Are more than just impressive figures. They're statistics for seasoned veterans. She set a record most assists in a single season. The first team's rookie scoring record was Rookie of the Year and All-Star W. Don't get me, I'm fourth in the MVP voting. Began with the female AP Athlete of the Year for both time and year. The same simply cannot be said for awards. Angel's comparison between the two athletes is similar to contrasting a scientific fair in high school. Elon's project of catching a rocket. Science is involved in both plummeting from space. However, the scope and influence are enormous. Separated, and now I'll be able to utilize using the media's reasoning against them to clarify. What sparked this online conversation was the media has been extremely negative about Caitlin Clark's level of attentiveness and how it adversely affected the entire team nearby, including her former coach. Everyone on Christie's side was trying their hardest to handle it well with that conversation. What sort of effect would the Angels media buzz has been on the Sky, particularly a particular teammate who significantly outscored her but failed to receive? Signed well, where smoke is present. Check out the Chicago Sky Fire. Apparently, the locker room reached soap, making their on-court action at opera levels appear mild in contrast, according to Ani Costa of the Sun Times reported. Teresa Weatherspoon a former coach, instead of serving as the group's unifying factor, turned become the chaos's catalyst by serving a single player or two. One of those athletes were thought to be Angel. This preferential treatment did not work. Reese simply caused small conflicts. It broke team dynamics and how the dressing room was transformed into a resentful pressure cooker. Weatherspoon's partiality was shown in many ways. She allegedly catered to the team strategy to inflate Angel's numbers, which caused other players to feel underestimated and uninspired. The influence. The chemistry on the team was deep, such as attempting to perform a symphony with only half of effects of an orchestra that is out of tune. Of this partiality poured over into the weather was no longer respected by court players. Spoon more quickly than a novice loses. Assurance following an airball team. Discipline broke down, and the unity of the sky. As she left, she vanished into thin air. Interview with her new group, the Marina, a former Sky player for the Connecticut Sun. Ma's compliments about the Sun appeared to draw attention to the stark contrast with the problems with discipline that have plagued the Sky.
There's a level of discipline and a level of professionality here where, the players just have to worry about playing basketball. A lot of things don't get down to the players, and I think that's really good. I also feel like, obviously the players here are very experienced and they want to keep a good environment, and they make sure that they kind of hold people accountable for that.
Whereas Weatherspoon had a preference for Kennedy Carter is another player. Reese became the black sheep of the team in spite of her ability to score goals on Carter's official court. More drama resulted from behavior than a reunion of several actors on a reality TV show voiced worries to the team regarding Carter, presenting an image of management, a split and dysfunctional locker room. Carter's decision to stay in his position wasn't limited to her on-court antics on social media or in performance, was a strong indication that the drama needed to end. At this stage, placing responsibility turns into as challenging as protecting Steph Curry on the was it Weatherspoon's perimeter? Partiality that paved the way for Carter's disruptive conduct that fueled the fire, or the tardy reaction of management that permitted the matter to simmer until the truth probably boiled over, includes a mix of each of these elements that combine to form the ideal team. This internal conflict isn't disorder, simply detrimental to team spirit. It's a possible catastrophe for the Sky future Sky's public broadcasting. Drama in the locker room has produced a poisonous environment that might turn off potential WNBA free agents, where the club chemistry has a key role in this unfavorable. One of the biggest setbacks is publicity. The athletes searching for a new squad are most likely to avoid a franchise, creating news stories for all the wrong reasons. Reasons for losing Carter, who had a 17.5 average points per game, is a serious setback for the second lowest scoring squad in. Jeff Pagoa, the league's GM, attempted to spin positively. It suggests a strategic move away from Carter's oppressive seclusion manner, but the true difficulty lies ahead. Trying to rebuild a team is similar to do renovations on a burning house. You're not merely repairing the framework. Additionally, you're attempting to persuade others. Maybe it's still a fantastic location to live. The Sky ought to be renamed the Great. It sort of fits wonderfully with Chicago Fire. That being said, the Sky can now overcome this obstacle, although other teams have. They are competing against the clock, and the WNBA is becoming a more competitive league. There is no doubt that things weren't in 2024 attractive in Chi-Town, with a new coach who ideally cultivates a morale in a merit-based culture. Hopefully, things will become better, and the Sky will become a team capable of making the playoffs again. Without the mysterious drama on social media. You should drop a basketball if you're still here emoji in the remarks to demonstrate it, so I can personally thank you, and see you next time.